when legislation like this gets forced through by the government. Thank you.
Calling up, Mega Whaitiri.
Tēnā koe, Mr Chair. Thank you very much for this opportunity to make a contribution to this debate on part 2. Sir, I'd like to make some opening comments around clause 6 and want to acknowledge the scimitars that appeared in front of the Select Committee, sir. And they raised some important issues that I'd like to acknowledge in this House tonight. Of course, the key issue that many scimitars shared in front of the Select Committee, sir, was the loss of open space and green space. We had 132 submissions received on the bill, and 84 of those scimitars, sir, raised serious concerns around the loss of open space, sir. And of course, the bill facilitating the 11.69 hectares of the reserves into development land, clearly for those submitters that here, sir, were of grave concern. And I want to acknowledge those that took the time to come and share their concerns around the loss of space, sir. Then I want to talk briefly on the second issue, or critical issue that was raised, was the impact on the bird habitat. And I want to acknowledge our Green colleagues here, but those that took the time again to appear in front of the Select Committee and raise the concern of the impact that if this legislation goes through, on the life of our native birds that habitate that area, sir. For the member that's calling out on the other side of the House, sir, it's important that we acknowledge scimitars that take their time to come in front of our Select Committee, because it's part of our democratic process in this country. So I do not waver from that member's interjection around acknowledging those that came. And of course, sir, another key issue, loss of sports fields. And many again came in front of the Select Committee and raised that it would impact on there. And of course, the other key issue was the precedent and the process that we were about to undertake with this bill going forward, sir. But I want to acknowledge, draw the House's attention to clause 7. And I know Nick Smith, there's a lot of talk in this House around it being a Ngāti Paoa Treaty Settlement enabling bill. Nick Smith will want us to believe that. The Māori Party, who has attacked the Labour Māori MPs, particularly my colleagues, that this is a treaty bill that we're opposing. But, sir, I only have to look at this bill. I look at this bill from page 1, a very small bill, and do I see Ngāti Paoa's name in this bill? Does anybody see Ngāti Paoa's name in this bill? No, sir, it's not. And the only iwi reference in this bill is in clause 7 under the computer holder register. And there you go, sir, under 7.3c, we're talking about a memorial under section 148, and that this land, as far as this bill goes, the first right of refusal of the development land does not go to Ngāti Paoa. It doesn't go to Ngāti Paoa, sir. It goes to Ngā Mana Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau Collective Redress Act as part of their treaty settlement. Now, we've been told by, and we've been advised in the Select Committee, that there is a letter between the Treaty Minister and Ngāti Paoa that this enabling bill will go to meet some of their commercial dreams. But, sir, the issue is, have we got an agreement between Ngā Mana Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau Collective Group and Ngāti Paoa? Because that's what the bill says has the right of first refusal over this development land. Maybe the Minister and the Chair could get up and say that there is a letter or an agreement between Ngā Mana Whenua o Tamaki Makaurau Collective and Ngāti Paoa. If he can get up and say that, then that may give some assurances to the House, sir, that this development land is actually going to end up in Ngāti Paoa's hands. Because as the bill is written in front of us, there is no mention of Ngāti Paoa. And I'd like the Minister to get up and take a call on what guarantees, because the entity that receives the right of first refusal under the development land, and then further on in clause 4 for the remaining reserve land, does not go to Ngāti Paoa. And the question I have is, why haven't we got Ngāti Paoa in this bill? If it is a treaty bill, If it's an enabling bill for Ngāti Pawa to complete their treaty settlement, then I'd like to know from this Minister and the Chair why...
Mr Chair. Mr Chair.
The Honourable Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I've been sitting listening carefully to contributions